All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the 2andLong podcast. I'm Joe, and no one else is here this time. This time it's just me. This is a solo episode. I tried a couple different ways of how I was going to do this intro just myself. Usually my co-host Gabe is the handler of the intro, but I think that went okay. That went okay for a solo episode here. So, what I have prepared for you guys, the NFL is it's calmed down a little bit. It's taken a breather. Bobby Wagner was just signed, and the past about 6 days, that's the biggest news that's come out of the NFL. And I just saw something saying that Terrell Owens is actually restarting up his football career. He's in the fan-controlled league, which I've never watched, but it's an interesting prospect. I don't know how I feel about it because Terrell Owens is I forget the name of the team that he went to. Let me check that. He went to the Zappers, and he will be catching passes from Johnny Manziel. Yes, he's still alive, and yes, he is apparently still playing football. So that will be interesting. I don't have a lot more to say on that. I've never watched the league myself, but I'm sure it's great. So what I have for you today is a little bit different from what we've done in the past 3 episodes. We've done more coverage of news and predictions on free agents, sort of here and there what you normally see out of a football podcast. But what I have today is I have a player that I want to talk about, just one, which is why this episode is going to be a little bit shorter than the normal hour to hour and a half that we generally go on. But the player I want to talk about is Tyler Lockett, receiver on the Seattle Seahawks. He is now the second string receiver, but he really always has been. Even when Doug Baldwin was there, and quickly got replaced by DK Metcalf, who needs no introduction. But I want to talk about Tyler Lockett for one reason, being that I had a friend describe him just perfectly, being that Tyler Lockett in the NFL is an enigma. He is a guy that week to week you have no idea whether he is a top 15 receiver in the league or whether he's just a good sort of role player. A slot guy that catches a couple passes every other game, or whether or not he's going to go off for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. You can never really tell with him. So what I have done is I watched 6 games. And in the future with these more film analysis episodes, I'll be wanting to watch full seasons and truly get honest breakdowns of players from the previous season. But I'm also in college. Both of us are. So our ability to do that consistently is here and there. But we have this, and honestly, throughout these 6 games, my opinion of Lockett only varied a little bit. A couple things changed, but he was pretty consistent with how my opinion began to form. It sort of was more reinforced as the games progressed. But I picked 6 games. So I picked 2 games where he just went insane, where he just, let's see, the games that I picked and like I said, I watched these games in full, and I was only looking at Tyler Lockett throughout all of these games. But I broke down week 2 against Tennessee, where he played great. He got 8 catches, for 178 yards and a touchdown. And that was on 11 targets, so only 3 missed him. And let's see, we got week 8 against Jacksonville, which they won that game by a lot. And that was 12 catches on 13 targets for 142 yards. And then there were the not so good games, which just blows me away how he can have both of those and then he can play like he did at Pittsburgh in week 6, where he had 2 catches on 7 targets for 35 yards and no touchdown. So big flip from where he was. And then there's week 10 at Green Bay, 2 catches off of 8 targets. So 6 missed, 2 catches, and 23 yards. So, wow, blown away. And then I watched another 2 that were more sort of middle of the pack in comparison to the other 2, which are so completely opposite. Being I have week 5 against the Rams, where he had 5 catches off of 10 targets and 57 yards. So that a game like that is really just it's a thumbs up. You played good, you did good. And we also have week 13 against San Francisco. He had 7 catches off of 8 targets, so not bad there, with 68 yards and a touchdown. And that was another game that they won. I didn't mean to pick, I'm pretty sure, yeah, they lost against the Rams. They lost against Green Bay. They lost against Tennessee and Pittsburgh. So I picked 2 wins. But really, when it comes to a receiver, the win or loss doesn't matter for how you play, because as a receiver, you only have so much influence in the actual game. You know, it's not like a quarterback where the entire offense, revolves around how you play. And offenses that typically do only center around a receiver, those teams typically aren't very successful because the receivers just don't have as much of an impact as a good quarterback does. So all the same, I have a good analysis here. At least I like to think. So let's just get right into it with Tyler Lockett as a receiver is, for one, obviously he's quick. Even being he's 29 right now, he'll be 30 next season, which absolutely blows me away because I remember watching him as a rookie. There was a punt return he had against Chicago. I want to say it was in like 2015. Yeah, about 7 years ago now, which, wow. Where I want to say it was like a 103-yard return. Yeah, he went crazy. He just went straight up a gap. I want to say he made one guy miss, and then 100+ yard return. So that was my introduction to Lockett, was a speedy returner. And he sort of evolved. Now I would say he's a good second stringer. That's really at the heart of it. Is he's not a number 1. He just is not. DK Metcalf is definitely the number 1 in that offense, and it's very fitting. But that's not to say that Lockett is bad. Like, oh God, he's he can only be a number 2. But that's just what the film says. So it says he's fast. It says that he is smart, but there is one drawback I have with Lockett from watching him, and I know a lot of Seahawks fans, and this is probably going to this might affect some of you a little bit. This might this might sting a little. I kind of viewed Lockett as a little bit lazy. And I know how that sounds now that it's coming out of my mouth. And it's not ideal, but it's what the film says. The film says that Lockett does not like to put out a lot of effort unless there is a solid chance he's getting the ball. Especially on run blocking. Tyler Lockett is allergic to run blocking. And it's cost the team several times. Like in Tennessee, I want to say it was a 3rd and 3, and they ran a sweep with Alex Collins out to Tyler Lockett's side. And Lockett, he just, he sort of just jogs out and he puts his hands up. But the corner just blows right past him. He doesn't, break down. He doesn't try to, get in his way. Just right past him. Doesn't, barely raises a hand. Just gets it out there and runs right past. And guess who makes the tackle behind the first down marker? The cornerback that Lockett was supposed to be blocking. And they had to punt. And that game actually went into overtime, and Seattle lost by 3. And that was a missed opportunity just for the Seahawks as a whole, and it was because Tyler Lockett couldn't get in front of his corner. And he does this multiple times. Other times it's a little bit less costly than that. And, first down, second down, when, you have the next down or two to, come back and to actually get a first down. But, plays like that, it just looks lazy. It just looks undisciplined. Like he doesn't want to get out there. And it kind of seemed to me like he hates contact. We'll just say it like that. Say it like it is. Tyler Lockett hates contact. Because not only does he doesn't run block. He just doesn't. Does not run block. He also doesn't really go into his corner on his releases. He always goes backwards when he's actually coming off of the line. He will take a step back, make a juke to either the left or right, and then he'll take off. But I feel like it could benefit him a little bit more if he was willing to embrace the contact and, be willing to, get a little down and dirty with, fight the guy across from you. He could find himself being a little bit more successful. And along with that, along with sort of the same idea of him being a little lazy, is that one of his routes that he runs very often is about 3 to 5 yard out route. I want to say maybe 80%. Not 80%'s a little too high. 70. 70's fair. 70% of the routes that Tyler Lockett runs is about a 3 to 5 yard out route. And what he'll try to take advantage when the corner's playing far off of him, and he rounds that route off. He doesn't cut, he doesn't get low, he doesn't try to, force the corner to stay up there, or he doesn't try to get to the sideline really fast. He just sort of just jogs over, and Wilson, or for the love of God, Geno Smith, whoever's on the field throwing to him, just throws it out his way, and a little sideline catch, bang, 5 yards, which is not bad by any means. It's just, I don't know, there's not a lot of discipline in the way that he plays, at least from what I saw. Okay, now let's actually talk about a couple good things that I saw with Tyler Lockett. Dude is, when he does try on his routes, when he actually puts a lot of effort into running his routes, they are crisp routes. They are great. One awesome example is it was 3rd and 4 in the game against Tennessee in week 2. And this is the game where he had 178 yards and a touchdown. And this play wasn't the touchdown, but like I said, it was a 3rd and 4, and the defense was running cover one, which cover one means that the safety, there's one safety back. There's one safety just, you know, back looking for any passes over the middle, and then the other safety is sort of freelancing. As a coach, you can have him do a lot. You can either have him blitz, you can have him just sit and watch the quarterback, or you can have him sort of spy the quarterback. And by that, I more mean sit in a zone, look at the quarterback's eyes, and wait for the ball to be thrown and try to go make a play on it. But the downside of that is that everyone else is on an island with their guy. It's man on man, mano a mano, and Tyler Lockett, I feel like, knew that going into the play. And he ran a sort of like a deep zig almost, which a zig is he ran inside and made a sharp cut and went back outside. And his cut was so precise. The corner covering him actually he almost fell. He had to touch the ground, and he did a lot to try to get back on Lockett, but Lockett just had his step. He broke off of him. And then Russell Wilson. So, Denver fans, Russell Wilson misses throws. I know. Calm down. He does. He will miss passes. And right here, Tyler Lockett breaks off of his corner. Some amazing route. Breaks off of him, gets into the end zone, and Wilson just misses him by a couple feet. Incomplete pass, Seattle takes a field goal. And that's one of the reasons why I've been a little bit more accepting of the Russell Wilson trade to Denver, is that Russell Wilson does miss. And this year he showed a couple of the cracks that he has in his game, being that, he's not always perfect. He'll make bad reads, he'll throw picks, he'll throw balls into the ground. And he does this, and every quarterback does that once or twice a game, even the best. But Wilson does that a lot more than I feel like a lot of casual fans of the game realize. He does it fairly often, and it's actually lost a few games for Seattle. So coming into the season, I would keep an eye on that. Let's see. And another thing that Lockett does that I'm shocked at how well he's able to do this is he's able to find open space. Even if his route running isn't all that disciplined, even if he's not constantly cutting hard or trying to get guys off of him, a lot of it can sort of be, framed in the sense that he is finding holes in zones. Tyler Lockett tears apart zones. Very, very often, I saw him. He would look around and he would find an area of just open green grass, and he would just go and stand in it and just wait. Which I feel like a lot of those plays actually probably had a different route, but he found room. He found room and just even though hey, my slant is supposed to go to the other numbers, I'm supposed to just keep running. I'm just gonna stop right here. There's no one around me, so just wave at Wilson. Hey, no one is within 10 yards of me. And there was actually a situation exactly like that. Week 6 against Pittsburgh. This was Tyler Lockett's really not amazing game, but half of why he didn't perform well in that game was that was Geno Smith throwing the ball to him. And I have developed a brand new hatred of watching Geno Smith. He can no longer play the position of quarterback, not even at the level that he was earlier on with the Jets, even when he had a couple of salvageable plays. I know a lot of Seahawks fans early, when Geno Smith first came onto the field, which was actually in week 5 against the Rams, he's just so frustrating. He On this play, for example, Tyler Lockett was running a post, which is just go straight for about 7 to 10 yards. Depends on how you run it, I guess. But he ran it for about 10 yards, cut in. And there was no one. The defense just completely forgot about Tyler Lockett's existence. No one within 10 yards. And what does Geno Smith do? He faces a hint of pressure and starts panicking like his life is on the line. And he sees Lockett last second and throws it at him like 5 yards too short. Ball bounces off the ground onto the next play. And I was so frustrated. Geno Smith can't read pressure. He either can't read it, or when he sees it, he just shatters as a human being. He's like, oh God, oh God, fuck, and he'll either throw it into the dirt or he'll get sacked. That was another thing that happened in the game. Tyler Lockett at one point had a step on, I believe it was I want to say it was a flea flicker, or it was either way, it was a play fake with Lockett going deep, and Geno Smith blew it completely. Just missed him. Mainly because he was getting sacked. I missed him because he got sacked, which I guess that, yeah, sure, we're going to roll with that. And the other reason why Lockett didn't perform as well, Joe Hayden, who has been in the league forever. Joe Hayden locked up Tyler Lockett very well. Lockett could not get off of Joe Hayden. And for some reason, it almost felt like he was being shadowed by Joe Hayden. Like, Hayden was specifically, his assignment was to be on Tyler Lockett and to follow him, which I thought was strange, but so be it. How old is Joe Hayden? I'm going to check that right now. Let's see here. Joe Hayden age. Joe Hayden's 32. And 30, like anything above 30 is you're starting to get old for a corner. And anything, like, I give Joe Hayden another year or two. Probably before he retires. Maybe players are lasting a lot longer nowadays for somehow. No one wants to retire. So maybe I'd give him until 35, but that is at the latest. That's before his play declines to a place where he physically, like, he wouldn't be able to keep up physically. He just wouldn't be able to do it. Let's see. Let's talk more about more good things about Tyler Lockett. His footwork, when he puts effort into it, is great. I did say earlier that on his release off the line, he doesn't like contact, and he doesn't go into the receiver all that much. He still, despite that, gets open a lot. And he gets open by having that great release. And he, even though he's going backwards, he's going left and right, and, doing a lot of stuff to fake out the defender, he seemingly is able to get off, even though, he's 5'10", he's a little guy. If he really gets pressed and he gets jammed up really badly, he still finds a way to get off and to, at very least, get his route off before the play ends. And, I don't know. Tyler Lockett's strange. He's just a very, very strange receiver. Because one other thing is, real quick, one thing he does take seriously is his run after catch. I know, I just said for the second or third time he doesn't like contact unless the ball's in his hands. If the ball's in his hands, he'll do a lot to get off. He'll dive. He'll pull out every move in the book. And it's interesting to see, given that every other like phase of his game is fairly lax. Uh, but one other final drawback, and I think we'll call it here soon, is the fact that if Tyler Lockett is facing an elite corner, for example, week 5, there were a couple plays where Ramsey was on him. Jalen Ramsey, best corner in the league, and oh my God, Lockett couldn't go anywhere on him. One play in particular, he ran a fade, and uh, I think it was still Wilson at the time. It might have been Geno. This was the game where Wilson, I think, Aaron Donald clipped his finger and he had to go out, so Geno came in. I don't know if this was before that or after that, but Ramsey just pressed the hell out of Lockett, and he couldn't go anywhere. He tried to go in, tried to go out. Ramsey wouldn't let him do anything. Ball was sent his way. Ramsey swats it away, and Lockett couldn't even get his hands up. But in that game specifically, though, he had 5 catches, 57 yards, and no touchdown. He did catch a touchdown. He caught a ball in the end zone. He got free. He was in the slot, ran a post, split the safeties, caught a touchdown. And Holding brought it back. And, that is the absolute worst thing for a receiver, is when a penalty cancels out, that's hard. It's hard in the NFL to get open in the end zone and to make a catch as easy as the one that Lockett made. But holding on the line, get on back and do it again. It is so frustrating, but it happens. And on to the next play. And he still didn't have a bad game in that one, but he got robbed of a touchdown because the Seahawks offensive line is abysmal. Let's see. What else do I have on, I watched all 6 of these games pretty much back to back to back to back to back, and for 6 games. So there's not a whole lot more to say on him. I mean, he's fast, he's very smart, but a lot of his game it draws itself back, I feel like, due to lack of effort. And even on things like like runoff routes, which a runoff route is just him running a route to create space for others. So like just a fade, just run straight, take your corner with you, take your corner out of that spot so that we can run other people that way. He shows it in his body language. He stiffens up a lot when he goes downfield. He just locks up, and ironically, no pun intended, and it doesn't look great. But that being said, Lockett's still a really good receiver. Even if there's not as much discipline in his game as I would have expected going into this, he's good, obviously. He is a good receiver. But is he top 15? No. No, he is not. But is he just a normal, just wide receiver too? Just, an anybody? He's also not that. So the enigma sort of continues, because in my mind, he is, he's very talented. And I believe this season he had 73 catches for, I want to say it was around 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns. I feel like he could do more. I feel like he could be a 13 to 1,400 yard receiver with like 12 touchdowns. But I don't know if he would put in the effort to become that. Obviously, he does a lot of training in the off season. Everybody does. But I'm a little bit perplexed here because Lockett he's talented, but can he do enough in this next season? Can he put in just a little bit more effort, block a little bit more, help his team out, and can he take that next step? I mean, he's 30. He doesn't have, a decade left unless he's, wants to take the Deshaun Jackson route and just play until his legs fall off. But it'll be interesting to see how he does this next season. He'll have Drew Lock. He'll have a he'll have a less talented quarterback. That's for sure. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see whether or not he'll be able to overcome a poor quarterback, and maybe this is the year where he really focuses in, where he puts more discipline into his game and really shows the league what he has. All right, that's all I got for you guys. Like I said, shorter episode today. 32 minutes is what my counter says. So, thank you guys all for coming. I hope you have a great week. We should be putting out a new episode next week, and I will see all of you guys in the next one. All right, take care.